Gotta love technology. Welcome tonight. So grateful to be there. I know it's been a hot minute since I've been with you live or been even putting videos up on the channel, but that's really because I've taken some time to overcome some sickness, overcome some things. But guess what? Coming back into the seat, getting there on live, I've got a great show for you tonight with a very special guest. He is a friend. He's a high ticket sales coach. He's a brother in Christ. My goodness, this guy is going to light you up tonight. And I'm so grateful for you to be with us. And before we introduce and bring Shawn on, I want to do you one thing. Come in, tag some friends, share this out, because this is going to be a great introduction to really kind of talking about high ticket sales, what it takes, and the challenge that's coming up that Shawn is going to actually talk about while we're on the show that you're going to want to be part of, because it's going to revolutionize your business. It's going to revolutionize the way you do sales. And it's really going to get you to a place that's going to bring you all the things that you are building your business for. And that is pretty much, if you're on this channel, it's for impact, because you're a heart-centered, mission-driven individual who wants impact. So without further ado, I'm going to invite and say, welcome to my brother, Shawn. And Shawn, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, Jim. I'm so excited to be with you today. You are killing it with your content and creating great stuff. I know you've been out for a little bit, but you're back, ready to play the game and win on your own terms, which is pretty incredible. So I'm super excited to be your guest today.
Man, I'm excited to have you. I know this has been a long time coming. We've actually flirted around a little bit about getting on an interview at some point. So I'm grateful to have you there. And thank you for the kind words, man, because I know you're killing it with your challenge. I know you've got a 5-day high ticket sales challenge coming up, the One Client Away challenge. I do want to dive into that because there are some people who are really going to want to take that, whether they, jump in just for the challenge or move on to be, hire you as their high ticket sales coach. One way or another, I think there's going to be a lot of value given tonight. And I think there's going to be even more value given in the 5-day challenge. So thank you for coming on the show with me and kicking off the downside of this year. Could you believe we're almost through 2021?
I am shocked. So as I get older, it feels like the days go by faster, or the days go by slower, but the years go by faster. It's the strangest thing.
It really is. Like, I think we're right about the same age. We're both 20. And so I figured like somewhere in there it is. It's like the days are going quick. Like, I remember when I had my children. I don't know if you have children, but I remember when I had my children and when they were born. And then like you blink, it's 5, 10, 15, 20 years later. And it feels like it's never been a moment. And you're like, where is everything going?
Yeah. So we don't have any, but I do have a fur baby. His name is Hamilton. He's a dog.
Nice.
And he's just the cutest thing in the world. But we are going to start planning on having kids pretty soon. So I'm pretty stoked about it. I'm ready to be a good dad and give my kids like all the love and just be able to set them up well. So I'm excited for that next season.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome, and you're gonna make a great dad, especially when you've got like Baby Yoda there. I know his name is Gorgoro. For all you guys who are not Star Wars fans, Baby Yoda is in the house. For all you guys who are, we've got the right name. So let's jump into this because you have been doing this a while. Been doing high ticket sales, been doing this one challenge away, and I've been in it myself at one point. And so, how did you get into high ticket sales? Because I know that's a big buzzword. Like, what is really high ticket sales, and how did you get into it?
It's a great question. Okay, so I grew up in a pretty impoverished part of Southern California. I did not see like stores opening, grand opening. I saw store closing, everything must go. I mean, there are blocks of buildings that are boarded up because businesses just had to close down. And so I didn't grow up in a very affluent area getting comfortable with numbers. I remember my mom was a single mom for a little bit. And if you're a single mom listening to this, if you're a mom listening to this, first of all, I want to say you are a superhero in my book, because you have the greatest job and the hardest job for many. And so I remember my mom coming to me when I was maybe 9 years old, and she said, "Shawn, guess what? I talked to my boss and I'm getting a 10-cent raise." And then we would celebrate, 10 more cents an hour. And then the next year she'd be like, "Okay, I'm going to really fight for 15 cents this time." And that's what I was comfortable with. I thought, like, if you have too much money, then you become soulless. You like lose your soul somehow. But if you have too little money, you become homeless. So it was like this weird balancing act of like figuring out, I need money to pay the bills, but I don't want too much money. Like I don't want to become soulless. I don't want to be greedy. I thought rich
Mm,
people, they made their money by doing things illegally. They had to be unethical in the way they did it. So growing up, I wasn't really comfortable with this. But
mm,
I knew that I wanted to take care of my wife. I wanted to take care of my family. And I uncovered, after doing a ton of research, that in the city that I grew up in, there were massive amounts of criminality, drug abuse, mental health challenges. There's a ton of divorce, high school dropout rates, teen pregnancies. But the underlying foundational problem was poverty. That if we could
mm,
solve the poverty issue, we solved a lot of the other issues. And so I made a decision, you know what? I'm going to figure out how we can eradicate poverty and maximize abundance. I
mm,
believe every single person on the face of this planet deserves to live a life of abundance. They deserve to have the resources available so they can live the very best life possible for them. And they can live life on their own terms, not the terms of a boss they hate or a job they hate or a commute they hate. And so I decided I'm going to figure out how to do this. So I discovered business was a really great way to generate
mm,
wealth. And so I started my business, and I hated the idea that I had to make money or ask for money. Like, the money part was just the worst part. It was the hard part of business. So on my very first sales call, I remember I was supposed to charge $200 a month because that's the most amount that I could ever imagine charging. And instead of saying 200, I said 10. I said $10 a month for 2 hours of coaching multiple times a week. And I gave an unnecessary discount. And immediately they chuckled, they laughed, they said, okay, I'll do 3 months. They paid in full $30 whole dollars, which in Southern California barely pays for a quarter tank of gas.
right.
And it was like crazy because I discovered, okay, either the money part of business will always be a problem for me, or I'm going to figure this part out. Because I know
Mhm.
that once I figure out the money part, everything figures itself out. I
Yep.
no longer wanted money to be a thing that I was afraid of, a thing that would bring me anxiety, a thing that would like make me draw back and recede. I wanted to make money a tool that I used, not a master I was a slave to. And so it was really fundamental for me to recognize, one, I had a toxic relationship to money. A lot of people in business
Mhm.
have this as well. They whenever money comes up, they get really scared or anxious, or like they have this really weird relationship with it. And then number two, I knew I had to be able to have fun during the sales process. Because if I'm not having fun, then I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to want to do it again and again. And so I had to figure out, how can I make the sales process really fun, where I was excited to talk about the money and they were excited to talk about the money. They're laughing, I'm laughing, and we're having a good time. And once I figured out how to do that, literally everything began to shift. I started to raise my price and charge what I was
Mhm.
worth, what I knew I was bringing to the table. I started being able to ask for my price, and say my price with confidence without giving unnecessary discounts. And I started being able to be a little bit more discernible when it comes to the type of clients I wanted to work with. I remember taking on a couple clients that like I immediately regretted after, but I needed to pay the bills, so I just took on anyone. Now I'm very clear on the type of people I want to work with and the type of people I don't want to work with. And
Mhm.
being really comfortable figuring out my mindset around money and then the strategy around money helped me to really clarify the type of clients I wanted to work with. And so for us, it's been a wild ride, because not only am I able to make a living doing what I love, but we have loads of clients who are also able to do that. I just had a conversation with a lady who took our challenge, a free challenge, landed three $9,000 clients, ended up
Mm.
working with us. We wanted to work with her, so we ended up working with her. And now she's about to give birth. She's going to take 3 months off of her business, and she still has like multi five figures coming into her business
Wow.
throughout those months. And she's taking maternity leave for 3 months, so she's not even going to touch her business. So it's really cool to see things like that play out once you really figure out the mindset and the strategy around money.
That's amazing. And I remember when I first started doing this, like I didn't know what to charge. I'd come out of being a pastor. I was entrepreneurial since I was 6, but
Yeah,
I had issues with money. So even my first like coaching was like $200 for like 3 months. It was like
yeah,
crazy. Um,
yeah.
One of the questions that I wrote a couple things down because I love some of the things you were saying. The poverty mindset, how did you break that? Like there's definitely a big poverty mindset in this country, in this world. I mean, particularly among Christians. I do speak to a faith-based audience too, and there's this whole, oh, it's a sin to be rich and yet we have to be poor, and this is weird dynamic of if I had more money, I have more impact. So how did you break through that in order to get where you are?
It was really being able to understand the position that money has in your life. If you're trying to find freedom and peace and joy and truth from money, guess what? You're never going to have enough. If you're a believer, if you have a faith, then you find that in your faith. You find freedom in your faith, in not in money. And so you have to recognize, and I had to recognize that. Well, I can't find freedom or happiness or joy from money, but I could use money for furthering and advancing the mission that I'm on. I could use it to help other people further the mission they're on. And I remember at one time wanting to be able to I was so passionate about this cause, and I wanted to write a $10,000 check, but I did not have $10,000 in the bank to give. I wanted to write a $100,000 check, $1 million check, because I wanted to see this cause further its mission. And I couldn't, because I didn't have money. I couldn't be comfortable. I wasn't comfortable with money, so I couldn't give money. That's why I'm so passionate about making money, and I know I'm passionate about helping you make more money, because I know what you're going to do with it. You're gonna pay the bills and be able to take care of your family. You're going to be able to enjoy time with your family and go on vacations and travel. You're going to be able to give to those causes that you believe in. So, for example, every single time we do our challenge or a launch in our business, we set aside a portion of our revenue to go towards a nonprofit. This upcoming one, we're going to be giving proceeds to a nonprofit that is specifically at the forefront of eradicating human trafficking, something me and my wife are extremely passionate about. Sometimes we give to a nonprofit that's at the forefront of eradicating homelessness or making mental health resources available to those who may not have access to it. And so we are very big on let's make a whole lot of money so we can make a difference in the world, so that we can pursue the mission that we're on at an even greater level.
I think that's beautiful. And I know that we've talked in the past and we're very aligned in what we believe and what we do. Like we share a very similar thing in my wife's experience and why we're against sex trafficking and slavery and stuff like that. And we give to the same organizations. And so that's a very big passion of mine. So which brings then the comment or the conversation down to really, always the more money you have, the more impact you have. I mean, that's just what it is. So what's the difference really between sales, high ticket sales, and how did you bridge that gap?
So I did a study actually, and I looked at how most entrepreneurs, specifically on the online space, built successful companies. And I discovered every single one, Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, Michael Hyatt, Pat Flynn, every single one has a high ticket offer that they started with. And so I made a decision, you know what, I'm going to really focus in on this and really help people bridge the gap between where they're at and where they want to be. And one of the ways to bridge that gap is through high ticket offers. What a high ticket offer allows you to do is it allows you to show up doing your very best work, and it allows you to show up with the very best intentions and the very best energy with your client. For example, I remember I landed a client $100. That's how much they paid me. No, I could not show up as well to that client because I was still worried about landing more clients to pay the bills. I was kind of resentful that, oh man, I know what I'm giving is worth so much more, but I only asked for 100. They shouldn't have accepted. They should have offered more. There was just so much negative energy around it. Now, when I land a client that's at 10,000, I can show up well. When I land a client at 50,000, I could show up well. And you can too, because you're no longer worried about the bills or landing more clients. You can show up for the person who shows up for you. On top of that, I realized that selling high ticket allows you to be a little bit more pickier with the type of clients you work with. Like I said, I'm very clear that the type of clients I work with have to bring out the best in me. For example, my clients have to have a mission that inspires me. I have to be excited to work with them. I have to believe in the mission they're on. Even if they're just like a copywriter, brand strategist, etc., the type of work that they're doing has to inspire me. They also have to be more committed to their results than I am. I'm not going to be committed to your results. They're your results to be committed to. Right. I'll be committed to you as a person and as my client, but your results are yours alone. I will not benefit from the action you take. You will benefit from the action you take.
Mhm.
I'm not going to regret the action you don't take. You will regret the action you don't take. So you have to take ownership of your and take responsibility over your results. I'm not going to. I make that very clear up front with my clients. If I'm more committed to their results than they are, it's going to be like I'm dragging them to the finish line for results they don't even care about. So we want to make sure they're super committed. On top of that, I want to make sure that they are collaborative. They're kind. They're nice. I've worked with clients that were jerks that I was like, I don't want to work with you anymore. Like you're just a mean person. So I require my clients to be kind, to be nice, to be
Mm.
respectful, to have integrity. And I let my clients know, listen, if you're a jerk to me, or if I sense like, hey, you're crossing some boundaries here, I'm going to let you go as a client, and I'm not going to give you a refund. That's going to be in our contract. So
Love that.
you have to make sure that you understand the type of clients you want to work with. And when you lead with that, people feel so much more confident working with you, and they're
Mm.
happy to pay premium price. When people pay, they pay attention, they show up, they do the work. And so when you do charge high ticket, doesn't mean you can't charge low ticket, right? I sell high ticket and low ticket. Our high ticket buyers are the ones that get the greatest results though, because they're just
Yeah,
more committed. So
absolutely. And for you guys who are watching, thank you for tuning in. I just want to take a second to recognize you guys. Um, Here's a question for you guys in the audience. Like, think about this. What would it feel, or what freedom could you have knowing that you could fire your own clients? How would that make you feel? Like, what would that, would you be able to show up work more refreshed, more joyful? You know, when I say work, I mean whatever your entrepreneurial journey or things is. I mean, like, think about that. Could you fire your client right now? And how would you feel about that? If you are somebody who says, I would be freaking out because of the bills, because you're in survival mode, you may want to consider doing the one client away challenge with Shawn and his crew, because it'll help you change that mindset. It'll help you learn how to do high ticket sales. You know, if you guys on the other end who are sitting there like, hey man, it'd be great, man. We welcome you as well, and we add value to you in any way we can. Remember to always drop comments, always drop likes, share the videos, and any questions you have, we will answer them live. If it's not live, we'll answer them on the replay. So jumping back in here with my brother Shawn. I'm loving this, man. I'm loving the conversation. I love the mission you're on. I really do. I think there's such a beauty in that mission, because there's so many people that live below their means. There's so many people that live in a place of survival. So one of the things that really triggered like a question for me when we're talking, what did you do personally, emotionally, to get to the place of maturity in that? Because I know there had been like a massive amount of struggle. I mean, I think there's so many times where we get into this place where they're like, "Hey, just do this," and coaches almost say it feels like it's so easy, but then when you do it, it sucks, right?
yeah.
So, what are some of the things like in your own emotional journey of how did you mature? Like, walk us through a little bit of that.
So what's really interesting is there's one very key thing that I did, very practical thing that I did that got me comfortable selling at a higher rate. Before I share that though, what's really important is to know that it takes time. It's a process. That overnight you're not going to change, because nobody changes overnight. It's very unlikely you're going to change overnight, and that change be sustainable. It develops over time. And so I'm 30 years old. I'm pretty young for some. I'm older for others. No matter where you are at in your journey, I can tell you that there was no type of change that could have taken place when I was 20 that wouldn't have taken the time to get to the place where I'm 30. Some changes take 10 years, 5 years, 3
Mhm.
years, 2 years, 2 months to really manifest itself. So give yourself patience, recognize that it takes time. One thing that I did very practically to support kind of my journey was I practiced. If the first
Mhm.
time you're saying your prices in front of a new client, then you're doing it wrong already. You're setting yourself up for failure. So practice your price, practice saying higher numbers. I was not used to saying the number 10,000. So right now, if you're listening, if you're watching live the rerun, say it 10,000. Just say the number. Say 50,000. Say 100,000. They're just numbers. If you're doing math, there's no emotion around it, but somehow when we add a dollar sign to it, there's so much more anxiety and emotion around it. They're just numbers. 5,000, 10,000. So I would walk around my home. I'd tell my wife, hey, babe, I charge $50,000. Hey, babe, I charge $100,000. I charge $1 million, $5 million, because I wanted to get comfortable. Even if I didn't charge that in my business, I wanted to be comfortable with those numbers so I could grow into it. The other thing I would say is get support. Get like I grew up again in not an affluent area, so I had to join a couple of groups and mentorships and masterminds where people were easily saying, "Hey, I landed $100,000 today. That's a low day." Right? Like I had to get comfortable with those types of people where that's normal to them, so it could be normal for me too. I had to normalize that for myself. The other thing I would say, so I was talking about having a toxic relationship to money, is when you have a toxic relationship with money, it's very easy to just kind of ignore the trauma that's involved in that process. So, like, go to therapy, get counseling, talk to mentors and leaders that you look up to,
Mhm.
and share, hey, I'm struggling with this. I'm having a hard time with this. Get aligned with it. One thing I have people do is I have them practice saying, like, say this out loud. I charge $50,000. Say it. You got it. Now,
Yep.
when you say it, what's going to happen is something's going to come up. Maybe it's confidence and excitement. Like, yeah, I charge $50,000. Maybe for you, it's insecurity or fear or
Mhm.
anxiety, or like it's like, heck yeah, like okay, yeah, right, I'll do that. What comes up when you say that? That will be a huge signal for you on where you're at in your relationship to money, and it'll tell you what you should really start working on. Take some time and journal. What beliefs do I have? I did this. Like, what do I believe when it comes to money? If I have a lot of money, like snap of my finger, what changes about me? What gets revealed about me? What am I afraid will happen? Write all that down and process it, acknowledge it, and then shift it and change it.
Mm. That's amazing, and that's so valuable, and I hope you guys are all taking notes. If not, you're gonna wanna go replay this and take notes. I got a YouTube video coming out here soon. It's actually how I lost $25,000 on a sale. And it dealt with a lot of what we're talking about here about the emotional connection to money. This was several years back, and the guy, I've been a communicator for a long time. I've been a leadership coach and doing a lot of different things. And me and this guy were just chatting, and we were having a thing. He's like, "Okay, how much do you charge?" And I stumbled. I was like, it was crazy. I mean, I stumbled. I was like, and he said, "Not hiring you," and walked away.
Well,
Like
that's kind of a jerk move, first of all. But
it was,
also,
it was, it was a total jerk move.
what's really important to recognize that is if you're not
Yeah,
confident saying your price, people won't be confident paying it.
correct.
Right? Like if you can't say it confidently, they're not going to pay it confidently. And what's really important too is I remember my very first one-on-one client that was high ticket. It was $30,000 they were paying for
Mhm.
one-on-one mentorship and coaching. He told me after we were done, he said, "Shawn, if you said 60,000, I would have paid it."
Yep.
Right? We limit ourselves because we're
Mhm.
scared of saying a number. And so
Yep.
in our challenge, the one client away challenge, that's why we call it the one client away. Because I believe you're one $10,000 a month client from a six-figure business and a lifestyle change. You're one $5,000 client, $5,000 a month client away from maybe even being able to quit your job. Because most people, middle class, it's about $60,000. One $5,000 a month client changes that, replaces that. You're
Mhm.
one $2,000 a month client from being able to prove to yourself this can work. And so you're one client away. We've had people take our challenge and land clients 2 days in, 3 days in. Like
Mhm.
it's day one, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Shawn, I did what you said to do, and it worked. Like I landed a client. It's crazy." So we genuinely want you to get results in this challenge. The 5 day acceleration program where you will either create an offer if you don't have one or level up the one you already have. You'll get it out to market and you'll sell it within 5 days. Like we've had people do it. It's not out of the ordinary for you to land a client. Now, I'm not going to promise or guarantee you land a client because you have to choose to do the work. What I
Right.
will say is we've had Penny landed a $30,000 client. Sky landed three $9,000 clients. Jason landed two $4,000 clients
Mhm.
as a math tutor, then shifted his whole business to being a photographer and is now landing $3,000 to $5,000 clients as a photographer for photo shoots. We had Nicola, who's a teacher and helps with the kind of building curriculum for teachers, landed a $1,500 client. So wherever you're at in your price range, we'll help you level it up, but we'll also help
Mhm.
you land those clients.
Man, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So tell me when this challenge starts for those
This
who are watching.
Monday, like 5 days from now, which is super exciting. So, if you can, Jim, can you put the link in the comments below? They're going to
Already
be able to
did.
I love it. You're going to be able to get signed up. Click on that link, and it's absolutely free. It's free. So literally, there's no risk to you. I hate wasting time. So I'm not going to hit you with like a 5-day sales pitch. This isn't going to be theory or fluff or ideas. This is going to be tried and true, tested strategies that work, mindset work that gets you into action. You will create it, you will market it, you will sell it within
Mm,
5 days.
mm. That's amazing. And for all you guys who are interested in joining up, and if you're watching this on a replay later down on YouTube, these are happening regularly, so the dates may be shifted if you're watching a later video. But here, understand this, man. I'm For this Monday coming up, I'm gonna go with it with I'm gonna go through it with some of you guys. So it's always a blessing to do it over and over until you get it. So
Yeah.
don't let it think that I've got all of it. That's not true. Unless you're doing the thing, you may not have it. And there's always more to learn. So the link is in the comments, guys, and it's also in the descriptions. If you'll just go ahead and doing that and jump into the free challenge. The only thing it's going to cost you right now is time and effort. And if
Mhm.
you can't put the time and effort into it, then you probably need to go work somewhere else for someone else. And that's just really what it comes down to. So put the time and effort in, go in and learn, build up your offer, and then become a high ticket person. Because how much, like Shawn was saying, what would $5,000 extra a month do for your life? Unless you're already making 10, 100,000, 200,000, 3 up, the average person, like I said, 60,000 a year, what would 5,000 a month do in your life? And if you say it would do like change my entire life, then you need to join this challenge so you can learn from the master himself, the high ticket sales coach here, Shawn. And again, it's going to cost you time and effort, right?
Yeah.
Listen, do what he says, and then just get out there and start doing what you were created to do, guys. Shawn, I appreciate you being here, my friend.
Thank
I
you,
really
my friend. Jim, you're amazing.
Yeah, man. So if they want to, other than dropping in the links, is there anything that you would like to promote? Like, do you have a podcast you like people listening to that they can kind of get to know you a little better, a group? Share
We
something.
do, yeah, we do have a podcast. So if you go to the Heck Yes podcast, Heck Yes, right here, the Heck Yes podcast on your favorite streaming platform, you'll be able to take a listen. Listen, like I said, I don't like wasting time. So my podcast episodes are like 3 to 5 minutes long. It's a gold nugget. Here, go do this today. And you'll be able to take away so much from it. If you click on my name, if you're like on Facebook or whatever, you click on my name, you'll be able to friend me, add me, send me a message. Just tell me, hey, I was watching from Jim. I'd love to say hi to you. If you're on YouTube, follow me on YouTube. I mean, you can go with all the platforms. It's pretty awesome. But the Heck Yes podcast is the best place to be to get that gold nugget every single week.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Let me let's as we close out this, because I want to honor your time and I want to thank you for coming in. Let's put some little mood music on there. Got a little mood. Yeah, I know. Hey, listen. I love it, man. I'm all the same stuff, dude. I love music. I love all the pop culture stuff. So I'm jealous of the big thing. My wife is on the stream, so maybe she can say, "Hey, get me something like this." Hello, here's a hint. So guys, thank you so much for joining us on the Everyday Leader Live. We're back into the live stream season. Love having you guys here each and every week. Just keep looking out for the dates and stuff. I post everything ahead of time so you can get the notifications. Also, head over to the YouTube channel at leadwithjim.live, because here's the deal, guys. We post videos every week. We're really hitting there to get you into get moving, get noticed, and get paid. Because if you're a heart-centered, mission-driven entrepreneur type, then I want to hang out and build community with you. So get over there at leadwithjim.live and subscribe to the channel, and let's build together, guys. Shawn, thank you so much for being on the show. Until next week, love each and every one of you guys.